What up, Shy?
Okay, so let's get into it. You sent me a clip of Common and Pete Rock performing on the Tonight Show.
Yo, real talk, Shy.
Uh-huh.
I've never felt more in sync with you. If you didn't have something, that's what I was gonna talk about too.
Oh,
Just
really?
continue. Dead
Oh,
ass.
that's
Yo.
so funny.
Yo, real talk. Yo, I was like, yo, I know did I write it down? Like, is it in the Google Doc? Okay.
No. Okay.
But yeah, go on.
So you sent me the clip, and it's because Common and Pete Rock,
Yep.
uh legendary beat maker, right? Pete
Mhm.
Rock.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
They put out an album together recently,
Yes,
and
indeed.
so they've been going around doing the press for it, and they were on the Tonight Show. Whew, pardon me, still late night. And so they did a song that featured Pasta News from De La
Yep.
and Bilal, R&B
Mhm.
singer extraordinaire Bilal. And then the Roots were doing the music.
Yep.
Right, their backup thing. And then let's see what else. I think Common maybe did the Common and Pete Rock did a free show in Brooklyn, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing as well. I didn't get a
Yeah.
chance to check it, but yeah.
I'm like, good for them, but it was 90 something degrees, and I don't see you unless you are inside in a climate controlled situation. I don't see you out, not in the summertime. Mm-mm. No, ma'am, no, sir. So, yeah, so there was that. So I watched the Tonight Show performance, which was
Okay.
fine. And I started to watch a video. They have a couple of videos.
Mhm.
And yeah, man, I don't think I got it in me.
Nah?
No, here's the thing. It's perfectly fine, right?
Okay.
But it's also exactly what you think
Yeah.
when someone says Common and Pete Rock have done a record together. You're like, "Oh, great," right? And you already have a boom bap of an idea as to what it sounds like. That is what it sounds like. And that's fine, but I don't think maybe it's just at this moment I'm not in the mood for it, but for the most part I was just like, "Yeah, we know." You know?
uh There's only some horns? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, great, Uh I already know how Common's flow is gonna go. Like, yes, got it. You know what I mean? And so, um, yeah, it's not that like it's not that Common can't do groundbreaking stuff. It's just that when he tries, we're like, bro, what is you doing? And that's not fair. He's tried to push an envelope, but I don't know if he's really strong enough to like support the envelope that he tries to push a little
Right.
bit. And I think I was just like, yeah, this is already what's going on. And I'm not expecting them to do what rap is doing now,
Right.
whatever the fuck that is. You know, I'm not
Okay.
expecting them to do that. I don't want them to do that. That's not what they do.
At all. Yeah.
Yes. But what they do feels so encased in amber. You know what I mean? Just so frozen in time that I was just like, no one's pushed this a little bit. A little bit. No one's tried something a little different. But no, that's what people want. And I'm like, you know what? Great. Then there it is. If this makes you feel like you're back, but I don't know.
I'm gonna have to disagree, Sha.
I know. I totally expect that. I
This
absolutely expect that.
this made me so happy in almost every way.
It made a lot of people happy. It made me go, "Well, what's wrong with me? Why am I bored with it?" It really did. I was just like, maybe this is just a Shalewa problem that I'm like,
I'm giddy with
mm,
this for a ton of reasons.
okay.
Pete Rock, legendary producer, in terms of some of the stuff he's put out,
Mhm.
but uh, he has all of his major legendary moments were only with one MC who, while talented, CL Smooth,
Mhm.
was never a Nas, a Common or anyone of that level. So I'm excited that he gets to rock a whole album with someone who lyrically is dope.
Right.
Two, agree with you, big Common fan.
Mhm.
I enjoyed Electric Circus,
Right.
but that was also like the eighth best Common album. Like
Sure.
this is
Yes.
cool. I'm glad you did it, like to get it out your system.
Mhm.
But like that shouldn't have been the new habit. And I think he learned. He's like, I could do that once every like 5 albums. Y'all let me try shit. But
Right.
like I don't do that well enough for that to be my new thing.
Mhm.
You know? And he went back to the thing he does well. And
Mhm.
within that, I think he does that well. But what's exciting to me is that as a fan of hip hop, it's the first this like lasts like 2 to 3 years with like Nas putting out the string of albums that he did recently.
Right,
And
right.
this then they announced like the a Nas and Primo album. We got a LL Cool J single that was like legit fire in my opinion.
What, the recent one? The one
He
with
has two
Q-Tip?
songs out. He has a song, he has like a whole album he's supposed to be doing with Q-Tip.
Yes, I
Um,
watched that. I was gonna bring that up next. I watched that video. There's a video for that song.
yeah.
And
I
so
think it's
that's,
Ambition or something.
Passion.
Passion.
So that song, I was the first time I watched the video and heard the song basically, um, I was like, "This is kind of a mess." And then at the end of it, I was like, "But it's nice to hear Weird LL again."
Yeah.
Right? And then I played it again for my roommate because I was like, "Okay, check this out." And my and then I was like, now another thing I thought the first time through was like, I was like, "This is a little bit like jazz."
Right. I agree.
And so when I played it for him, for my roommate, I was like, "Okay, it's better on the ears the second go around," which is why I like to listen to things a couple of times, a few times. Um, and it definitely is jazz and not in like a we got the jazz kind of way, but like an actual like his voice, his lyrics, his flow, the the directions he's going with it, his rhyme, the rhyme patterns and the couplets or more are not as straightforward
Right.
and you don't see him coming and and that felt fresher and also it was just so it was a little weird and
Yeah.
I think sometimes we you know like there was when LL first came out and he was just a young brash dude jumping on tables and shit and rapping and then there was that middle moment when right after he became just kind of the lover boy
Hmm.
when he was just saying nonsensical shit on everyone's record, and it felt like a return to that LL, which I'm always happy
Yeah.
for. And so I was like, this is better. Like
Yeah.
I was like, this I like because it's pushing it in a way, and then like the Q-tipness of it
Yeah.
really
That I
shined
felt it comes
through.
through. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what excites me. Is that
Mm-hmm.
like we got to experience like kind of three different approaches to aging, right? Like LL is trying just straight up new stuff with an old collaborator.
Right.
Common and Pete Rock are trying to do the thing they do well.
Right.
Again, Nas collaborated with a young producer and said, "I'm gonna do what I do, but I want to do it over modern take." All
Okay.
three different approaches,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you're gonna get people that connect with each one differently. You
Right.
know what I mean? And it was exciting to me because the reason I was hyped is because hip hop reminds me a lot of comedy, and it's the most different from the other genres in that because there's no like potential loss of like vocal cords or whatever.
Mm.
So much
Mm-hmm.
of it is focused on like the writing that in theory, if someone keeps writing, like in comedy, you can keep getting better even though you're older. Like the ability to make more complicated thoughts and write doesn't get harder with age. You have more experience.
Right.
You
But
know what
you
I mean?
also can calcify
Right.
as you get older and you end up in a spot where you're like, this is what I do.
What I
This is my
do.
sweet spot. This is where and it's going to come off a little tinny
Right.
to ears. And so, and that we see that in comedy all the time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that's kind of what happened with the Common and Pete Rock thing, is that I understand how important it is, but I also right now when I hear Common rhyme, I'm just like, I don't know what the words will be on how to end it, but I can ba da 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 the whole how it's going to sound,
Yeah.
because he hasn't really switched that up
Yeah.
much.
That's fair.
And so, I think he could if he worked with someone who kind of when Common works with someone who forces his hand, we can get some good stuff.
Uh,
But I think he has to work with someone who's strong enough, different enough and strong enough to stand in that uh different space for him to feel comfortable to even try to keep up there. Pete Rock is strong and he stands in his space, but it's not necessarily, you know,
it's not gonna challenge Common to do
it's
something
not
new.
gonna challenge Common, it's the same
Yeah.
shit. It's the same kind of basic, so even though it was different from, now it just feels the same because it just feels a little dated,
Right.
as opposed to at the time, those were two completely different worlds,
Right.
right? But now it's gone through so much that it just sounds like that's Pete Rock's sound, and then that's Common sound, right? But now it just sounds 90s.
Right. Right.
It could all be dismissed as 90s, and you're jamming all kinds of things into that label. But unfortunately, my brain just went, yeah, yeah, I got it.
Well,
Yeah.
I wanted that hug. Okay. It was a familiar friend. I'm happy.
What
Okay. Common
I
Pete, don't listen to them. You put volume one for a reason, make a volume two. I'll be just as happy.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead. I mean, knock yourselves out. I yeah, I'm picky and clueless and all kinds of things, but just to me, I was just like, I don't know if this is really doing it for me.
And
Um,
the pause verse was crazy.
yeah, it's a great verse. I'm worried about him, but I'm worried about him too.
I'm curious what he's gonna do now because he's so he's in my list of people that if he released individual stuff, he'd be in the GOAT discussion. The only reason he's not considered the greatest of all time is because his whole catalog is in a group setting.
Mhm.
Like some like Black Thought has like had to do so much to like get viewed as a great, even though
Right.
he was literally the only rapper. And I know that's not the case with Paz, but like
Mhm.
he was the better rapper, I would argue,
Mhm.
in the group. The other, there was fun elements added, but
Yeah,
I
I
felt
think,
like
but all the things that a lot of the stuff that made De La, like, innovative came from
right,
Dave.
right.
So, Paz is gonna have really good verses on slightly boring songs. That's what I
Okay,
think is going to
okay.
happen.
Yeah,
That's what worries me. That's what I think is going to happen, because until he can find someone who can push him the way Dave pushed the two of them,
yeah.
I think he's just going to have, you know, some real nice work on forgettable songs.
Mm,
Like, I think that's just what's gonna happen, and I'm gonna listen, I'm gonna go, "Yeah, I mean, that sounded fine," but it's not, like, the thing, and that's hard, that alchemy that he and Dave had, I mean, just amazing, you know? And
far up.
so, like, but the thing is, he also, because of De La's innovation and being able to work with so many different people and hearing different people on a track, like, oh, you know who I hear on this? I hear so and so, I hear blah blah, and then ask them,
Yeah,
that kind of thing. Like, he he could, there is a chance for him to still make some really interesting stuff, but right now he's getting the shine that he did not always get from his peers.
right.
And so right now he's getting to work with people like his peers that he did not necessarily get to work with before, because they were quietly giving De La, you know, their props, but not like outwardly, you know what I mean? And so once now that De La stuff is available for people to hear, and
Mm.
then sadly the tragedy of Dave passing away, you know, now we just got a bunch of 50 and 60-year-old dudes who are now like, you know what, I hug people now. So there's that. I think he's, so I think
Yeah.
he's going to be work, it's kind of like great. I get to work with these people. And he's quietly worked with all kinds of folk, absolutely. But, I think that has opened up a bit for him.
Okay.
And I think he's, taking advantage of that as you do, because, it's work. It's what you
Yeah.
love to do, and it's also work. So he's still getting the work. But I think that means that it may be a minute before we hear something kind of innovative. I hope I'm wrong on that, but sadly, this song makes me think,
I was so excited. I said to Shy, like, yo, she gonna be hype. Shy ain't say shit back. She's like, I don't know. This ain't for me.
not that it wasn't for honestly, it took me a couple of days to even get to it. Um, because I got my own obsessions that I'm into right now. So I had to break away and take a like, okay, I can't look at that any longer. Let's see what else is going on. So I was like, oh right, I need to look for this that Gastor sent me and watch it and that kind of stuff. But I mean, I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying it just was okay.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
it's early in the night hip hop. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. That's what I
It's
want. I want to
Yeah,
go to
no,
bed
I
at
mean
11.
early in the night, like they had taken the chairs off the table, like they're setting up, they're testing the sound. It's early in the night. It's
Oh,
early in the
shit.
night.
Got the early ticket goers in here. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. The people who are like, well, it said the doors are at. It's those people. So I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but it just, I don't know. I don't
I
know.
support it. Check it out.
I support it too. I'm happy that y'all are working. I
Real talk.
just,
I'm
I,
trying to make hits at 50. Okay.
yeah,
Dropping
that's the
dropping.
other thing is it's wild that I'm just like, meh, like I'm some sort of youngster who can tell the difference between Sabrina Carpenter and Olivia Rodrigo and Chapel Roan. I don't know who any of these people are.
And also, yeah, I did find that interesting too, that like something about the anniversary really like touched people, because like that's a lot of like old school hip hop saying like, oh yeah, like 50 years of hip hop, I should put something out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I think it was a lot of motherfuckers getting together in a room.
Yeah.
They got to get. I mean, there were a lot of tours,
Word.
and a lot of people working together, and I mean, De La, which tour? I think they were on the Wu Tang one, the
Right.
Nas and Wu Tang one. And but then there was Rock the Bells that happened in different cities, and then there were like I think it was just like a lot of folks, and then there was a Grammy thing. They were all did stuff for the Grammys.
Yeah.
Like I think it was just a lot of them in rooms together, just being like, shit.
Yo, time is passing. I like you.
Yo,
You should do
yo, we
something.
gotta, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that was it. And I also think that, like, I think that the De La Soul thing really did make a big difference because Dave died,
Yeah,
2
yo.
weeks before all that shit was supposed to drop. And I think it fucked with a lot of people's heads. And I
Real
think a
talk.
lot of folks are like working together. And I mean, I think it's fantastic, um, in theory. And I personally wish the music was a little slightly newer. I don't want it to sound again, I don't want it to sound like now, but I just didn't want it to sound so much like back then.
Okay.
But I like that everybody's working together,
Amen. Hear that.
There's that.
Bring 94 back for Gas Store though. All day.
I
All day,
don't know.
baby.
I
Real
also
talk.
watched that MC Light video that was terrible. A new one. I mean, and that made me sad too, because Queen Latifah's in it in the video, and maybe Moni Love was in the video as well. But the song is so bad, and it's called like King or something, and it's just about it's like a song for our black kings. And I was like, hey man, ain't no one trying to hear about no black kings right now. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, we no. Read the room. We are not in the mood for king shenanigans. And then it was all just like, just like shots of like, black men that we've heard, just all of the black men that we've heard of, or groups of black men in suits. And I'm like, that means nothing. None of that shit means anything. And her rapping is bad. And I'm like, Light, you're better than this.
Come on.
Also, you do voiceovers on every commercial and every award show. Bitch, you don't need to do this.
You are busy. You are working.
You basically the only one who's been working the whole time. Ain't no other rapper out here who has voiceover work on like tampon commercials. Come on. You didn't need to do that. Oh, it's a misstep. To me, it is a misstep. Oh,
this is not the soapbox I expected you to be on, Sha.
Wait, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. I was just so disappointed. I was that just made me sad. It made me sad.
You know what was kind of like the blend of that I guess I did like recently? Rhapsody put out a song called D&D that samples Just One of Them Days. That I thought was like a real like fresh take on that song concept. Production sounded modern, but like it was dope. I really vibe with her. I think she's like one of the top 5 like lyricists out right now. But it was kind of like a nice blend to like something from before, but very modern in production style.
Right.
I vibe with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Check that out. Maybe next week we make Sha happy and she says, "Yeah, I like that." But if not,
I mean, I could just give every disclaimer in the world of like, I might not be in a hip hop state of mind right now.
That's fair.
I've been listening to a good amount of rock lately, so that could be it. But I can always jump in and hear something and be like, yeah, that's great. And it just didn't, it just sounded too, I just felt like, oh, I'm supposed to be wearing a head wrap, aren't I? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It felt done. And it didn't, even if they just did like a take on it, that was different. Like you said with Rhapsody, like sampling, if you would just, but whatever. What do I know?
I loved all that old shit. Make more of it, okay? I miss it.
Look,
makes my heart warm.
I'm just gonna listen to 311 and leave it at that. How about that, everybody? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna quit fucking around and just wait for this Vampire Weekend concert to come by that I bought tickets for.
Kicking us off today. Wallaby hops from cops in. I felt like I was going to get into like a Dr. Zeus thing.
Yeah,
Wallabies hops from cops in Pierce County before eventual capture. That's right. Washington State Patrol troopers and Pierce County sheriff's deputies hopped to it early Sunday morning when they got reports of a kangaroo near the intersection of 158th Street East and B Street East in Spanaway. After receiving the call at about 6:40 a.m., state troopers were first on the scene. Over the radio, they described the long-tailed, 2.5-foot tall jumper as having big ears and tiny forearms. You don't be talking shit about him like that, big. Grimy. Seeing a kangaroo may be common in Australia, but this is Washington State, and it wasn't a kangaroo, but closely related wallaby. After several attempts, a trooper was able to tackle the wallaby. Pierce said, according to the National Geographic, wallabies can be nearly 4 feet tall and weigh up to 50 pounds. Their kangaroo cousins, however, can grow much bigger, up to 8 feet tall and 200 pounds. Massa said the wallaby was returned to its owners, Debbie Doolittle's petting zoo in Parkland, about 1.5 miles north of where it was found. Reached by phone Sunday afternoon, someone at the petting zoo said, "That's not our wallaby." Whoa. They did not give a name and they provided no further information.
That's the last sentence of that article. That's not our wallaby. And that's how our show starts. What?
Yo, the story here isn't the story.
Right.
It's the Seattle Times publishing half of the work. This is the start, right? This is like the first episode of a podcast series. You don't end it there.
Exactly.
I want to start like consuming. I'm here to stream.
Right. So if they dropped off the wallaby to the petting zoo and the news called up the petting zoo for news on the update on the wallaby, and they're like, that's not our wallaby. Where's the wallaby?
For real.
How did it get here? Where is it now?
Yeah.
What did
Who's
you
the new
do with it?
wallaby?
Come on.
There's 2 wallabies? There
Right.
was a spare wallaby?
What's happening?
What's happening over there?
And I mean, did they call ahead and just go, "Hey, we got your wallaby," and they were like, "Yeah, our wallaby." What? What happened?
Sure.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Go ahead, drop them off.
Yo.
What's going on?
Dude, the week before, y'all would have stood on business saying, yo, there's no wallabies here. Real talk. You got so many wallabies that you could give back the wallaby and it be the wrong wallaby.
That's
something going on over there.
Yeah. So really, I just have questions for Debbie Doolittle's petting zoo. Let's start there, and
Real
then
talk.
see what happens. But that is the end of that. Really kind of cracked me up. That's not our wallaby. Click. Hello? Like what happened?
Oh man, I love this. They did not, and I'm curious if like they didn't even name the wallaby, yo. It sounded so like impersonal.
I think I feel like they found this wallaby and they were like, we know it. This is Debbie Doolittle's. I bet that's who this is. I mean, at the petting zoo, this is probably theirs. And then they just said, "Hey, we got your wallaby," and just dropped it off and left it. And then with a little bit of sleuthing, we find out that wasn't their initial wallaby. Is it still theirs though? I need the follow-up questions answered. All right, if that wasn't your wallaby, is it your wallaby now? Like, do you still have it? If not, where did you take it, or where did it go? Did it escape, or did you take it to? I'd like to think that there's some sort of network between animal sanctuaries and petting zoos, just some sort of whisper network or something where they talk, or a Facebook group or something.
You know, y'all keep talking about his cousins. Maybe the wallaby was trying to see his cousin kangaroo. You know,
I guess
trying to visit some fam.
Oh, or what if the wallaby had beef with the kangaroo?
Ooh.
You know?
Okay.
You know? And just kind of came in real quiet, like, and just slit its wrist, like just cut its head off. And now they're just checking up like, "Hey, how's your wallaby?" And they're like, "That wasn't our wallaby." And they just hung up because there's
You
been
see a wallaby? I don't see no wallaby.
Yeah,
no wallaby here.
We don't know. I feel like if the wallaby is a smaller version of a kangaroo, it's just like its grimier crime cousin. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Yo, shouts to Wallaby Soprano. Okay.
It's the Jason Statham in Snatch. The Snatch version is Jason Statham.
Yo.
Kind of, yeah.
You heard that new Wallaby movie with Guy Ritchie directed? That's gonna be crazy.
Honestly, if there's anyone who's going to make a Wallaby movie, I'll sit through. It's probably going to be Guy Ritchie. It's going to be Guy Ritchie or Steven Soderbergh.
In other news, Earth's core has slowed so much, it's now moving backwards, scientists confirm. Here's what it could mean. That's right, deep inside.
Go ahead. Continue. Go ahead. Yeah, keep talking.
Deep inside Earth is a solid metal ball that rotates independently of our spinning planet like a top whirling around inside a bigger top, shrouded in mystery. This inner core has intrigued researchers since its discovery by the Danish in 1936. Okay, that's a lot of time. Research argued over how to interpret findings. The differential rotation of the inner core was proposed as a phenomenon in 1970s and 80s, but it wasn't until the 90s that semiological evidence was published saying that it rotated differently. Not seeing what the big deal is. Magnetic attraction buried about 3,200 miles deep inside the Earth. The solid metal inner core
is this? Stop it. Okay,
yo, real talk.
What are they talking about? get to the good stuff. Are we gonna fall off the earth or not? I don't
Real
think we
talk.
are. I don't think we are. In
New.
fact, I think this isn't even the first time that the core has moved backwards.
Yeah.
Only because I feel like we talked about this before.
I feel like, you
Or,
know,
or did the planet
scientists,
was the planet doing another thing?
yo, science community, real talk. I'm not the smartest guy here. But
Right.
I'm not dumb, okay?
Okay.
I think Sha would say the same about herself, okay?
Yeah, that's safe. Mhm.
You know, between the two of us, we're telling you, we've read more than one article about this. We still don't know what's happening. You got
Yeah.
graphic. Yo, like, y'all gotta work on your verbiage, my G. Okay. I read 3 paragraphs. Nobody knows what's happening. Okay. I understood the title. After that, my G, I've been lost. I know
Wow.
I could tell you for a fact, I know every word I've read individually. But as a
Okay.
whole, I'm lost. Is this all I want to know is this good or bad and why? That's it. Let me know.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just
Do I
need to
gotta
know.
stretch more because I'm gonna be stuck more to the floor?
Yeah,
Like,
are we gonna fall off the planet?
that's it.
Or do we start to this time go backwards because the planet's going backwards?
Ooh.
Like
If there's
that
less
Superman?
gravity,
Yeah. Do
does
we
that mean that we're lighter? Does that mean I lost weight?
wait? Why would there be less gravity? Because we're moving backwards?
I don't know.
Oh, you know
I
what?
don't
That's
know.
a good point.
Real talk. I don't know. I don't know. Oh man, I'm just asking questions. I know that when I'm in a car and it's going forward and it stops, I keep going forward unless they have a seatbelt. So I'm figuring
Oh my
it's
gosh.
still spinning, it stops spinning, I'ma still keep moving.
Yo, they really got to gatekeep science more because they shouldn't give us the little tidbits that they do
They
and
just
let
give
us
us the wrong
run with
amount.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Finally, high-speed hippos can get airborne. Yo, you know, I don't even know if I can read this article after this last article.
Wait, okay, let me see here. All right. High speed hippos can get airborne, says new study. All right. Hippos can get airborne when moving at high speeds over land, according to a new study. This is the first time that the animals, which can weigh more than 2,000 kilograms or 2.2 tons
Jeez.
and spend much of their time in water, have been found to lift all 4 limbs off the ground when moving quickly, according to a statement from the Royal Veterinarian College in the UK. After analyzing videos showing 169 movement cycles from 32 hippos, researchers found that the fastest moving animals spend about 15% of each stride off the ground.
Yo, you know, I'm sorry. Yo,
Hmm.
science. Y'all getting too much money. Okay?
Yeah.
Real talk. You wasting money studying the hippos jump. I know they jump. I need and even if I didn't know, didn't need to know. My
Mm.
life is not affected by hippos jumping. That's all this
Mm.
article is. Yo, hippos jump.
I mean, I do appreciate any time someone can get the word out on how dangerous hippos are because
Okay.
I think we think that because they're big and underwater that they kind of move slow.
Mm.
And the thing is, a hippo moves very fast, one, and two, will gladly crush your skull between its teeth. And I don't think we know that. And I think
Okay.
more people should know that. Um, but yeah, you're not wrong in that. Maybe we could find another way to do it.
I'm just this should be the last thing we're discovering. Like, if we doing hippo jumping research, there
Right.
shouldn't be cancer. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yes.
the
Yeah.
focus should be elsewhere. Like,
Right.
the only way I would okay this if like the rest of the article is like we found this out by accident by doing cancer research, and the
Okay.
hippos kept jumping around the lab. You know what I mean?
Well, okay, here's something. In the video studied by researchers, hippos tended to move fast when something motivated them, such as chasing a rival hippo or or chased being chased by lions or rhinos. The team also found that hippos almost exclusively trot, with two diagonal limbs moving in the same direction at the same time, and then the other two diagonal limbs, no matter what speed they're moving at, whereas other mammals, such as horses, switch from a walk to a trot to a gallop, depending on their speed. Hippos are one of the very few four legged animals at all that just trot. That was a pretty neat finding. That's
I
what
get,
that was a pretty neat finding that all hippos do are they trot quickly, but they trot. Yeah, you're right. They got too much money.
real talk, B. Yo, if you
Yeah.
would like to tell these scientists that you just learned everything that they taught us in Madagascar, okay? That cartoon was just as informative. All you gotta do is like, subscribe to the show, baby.
Yep.
If you're an Apple Spotify listener, we appreciate your ratings. 4 stars. You know that was a waste of time. Okay? That was like completely pointless. I don't need to know that hippos could jump. Okay? They ain't even, and the thing is, they ain't even tell me the good stuff. How high can a hippo jump? How far can a hippo jump? That I would be interested in.
Yeah,
But just that they're in the air.
Distance, that they move quickly.
5 stars. I've always respected the hippos, okay? Draft the hippo for the New York Giants. Make them a lineman, okay? They could tackle.
Okay, now we're talking.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a game I want to watch, okay?
Yeah.
If you got any articles you want us to cover, please DM us directly on Twitter and Instagram at Silky Jumbo or at Gastor Almonte. With all that said, I am the, and just to be clear, pro hippo and only anti this kind of science, Gastor Almonte, okay? I'm pro science overall, but that was ridiculous. Okay.
Right.
All right. With the hippo jumping advocate, but also we got to stop wasting money. Shalewa Sharpe.
Yeah.
There's other things.
There are so many things.
So many other things we could be doing. Okay. Mm-hmm. We got wallabies on the run because they
How
need
about
money.
that? Let's figure that out. That's really where the money should go.
Yeah.
To figuring out where the hell that wallaby came from.
Seriously. And where'd the other one go? There's 2 of them. There's 2 untold stories here.
I guess so.
There's a wallaby that got handed back that we never knew existed because it's not the wallaby that got lost. Or there's one wallaby that was never accounted for in the state, which could mean there's no way there's just one wallaby. Wallabies got like they're not asexual. You know what I mean?
Oh, you don't think this is just like a wallaby on a gap year, just traveling the world?
Real talk. Yo, what you doing out in Washington? Yo, they don't have sales tax. So I figured I'd come out here, you know what I mean? Do some hiking, stop in Seattle.
Right.
You know what I mean? Check out the underground.
My wallaby is on a gap year for sure.
Oh man. This has been scientists are wasting too much money. But admittedly, we also have too much time on our hands. Episode of the War Report. Catch y'all next time. Peace.